Think of us as the Anton Deck of horror, if you like. A little bit less hair, higher forehead maybe, and I'm hiding my high forehead. Guys, really nice to meet you. Hello, some of you are strangers. Dom, I know.
Nice beard.
Yeah, yeah, grooming, my groom beard. Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of zombie movies, and then, well, with a dead body, and so it's kind of getting there halfway, if you like. There are a couple of zombie offers, so we'll make something of this. First of all, David, I think you've got a question on stalls.
I've got a very simple question on stall. Where the hell did that come from? Look, I've spent about 10 years writing about zombies, and I've imagined all the zombie scenarios I thought I could. But a zombie film set in a toilet. And I thought it's really interesting as well.
Yeah, oh, that's loud. When I hold it, what's the etiquette? There. Okay. I don't really sing, so I don't know the microphone's how to... You can hear me. Oh, that's all right, that's fine. So Dan Palmer, the writer and who plays the main part, he had a kind of fever dream. You know, probably everyone here does this when, you guys really, you know when you go into a venue, like right now, I'm looking here to go, guess my exit there. I've got one there. So zombies came in, I know how I get out of here. So you do it most places you go. And Dan had a kind of fever dream extension of that. And I think he just watched the night before for the millionth time one of the Romero films, I can't remember which one, and it sort of triggered something in him, and he suddenly had this fever dream about. He sort of retreated into a room, and then eventually a cupboard, and then a toilet, and eventually stuck in a toilet stool. And it kind of ended there. So we kind of talked about it, and it kind of jumped out from that. So that came from a dream.
It's weird. I was thinking about Night of the Living Dead while we were watching it, and it's strange how easily interchangeable a deserted farmhouse and a toilet is.
Yeah, we also there's nods to return as well in there. We want to make sure we acknowledge the others too.
Just picking up with yourself, Paul. Yeah. The more dedicated gremlins, I think, among us will remember Paul from Paul's work from last year with both him indoors. Also comedy horror, which was excellent. And you made an entrance in the other side as well.
Yeah. God, I haven't seen that since last year. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed it. It was shown here last year, and we watched it as well. And you played Deathface, the kind of imposing Michael Myers.
Yeah, because I'm really short.
Yeah. Yeah, you look like this really kind of creepy Marilyn Manson type character. It was great. But what I was looking to ask you is, working behind the camera, working in front of the camera, maybe it's one that yourself, Dom, you can answer as well. Is there a benefit to working as an actor? What do you bring from that then to your work as a director or producer or working in...
To be honest, I don't really consider myself an actor. I was literally just hired. Like, everything that I've been hired for has been because of it's not any kind of thespian skill whatsoever. That's why I never have any lines in anything that I do. I just turn up, look scary, and do this a lot.
You did a mean job of it. Like, did anyone see the other side last year? Yeah, good slasher. Yeah, Michael Myers contender. I think so.
I was a little annoyed with the directors because I don't know if you guys who here saw The Other Side. Do you remember the sequence where I dragged a copper out of the car? I was supposed to decapitate the fucker, but they cut it. Wasn't happy with that.
Anarchy, eh?
I don't know. Actually, you know what? I don't think we even shot it. That's why it wasn't in the movie. I'm pissed at them because they didn't shoot it. That's why.
There we go. Dom, same question then for yourself. Obviously, you've worked in TV, as we all know. You started Before Dawn last year. Another one from Grimmfest, which I thought was excellent. Really, really good zombie film. What's the benefits to working in front of the camera to then bring that to behind the camera work?
I think as a director, after you've been an actor, you work out what arseholes actors are.
It's just writers.
It's just because you make all your plans and then an actor will come along and just say, oh, I wouldn't stand there, I'd stand over there. But you spent all night working out that you stand there, and that's what I worked out anyway.
And of course, I'm sure the context you make it in that side of the world is helpful in terms of bringing it forward to make your own film.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, just coming to festivals every year has just been brilliant. I've been going to horror film festivals for years and years and years, so it's nice all of a sudden meeting you here, and bumping into people that you know, and just being in the same boat as everybody else, you know. So it's great, and we brought the whole team down. So we've got the producer and actors and writers and makeup people.
Hands up, guys.
So good.
Yeah.
The two actors just came up from London as well, just to be here today to watch it as well, yeah. And Tom Ragdale from Ghost in the season came on, so yeah. But thanks for showing it, Grimmfest. Thank you.
And the really cool thing about Shellshocked, it seems to have a real kind of production, high quality production, with the booms going off in the background, you know, the trench warfare. You did feel like you were there, you know. What do we owe that to, or what kind of, you know, work goes in behind the scenes in terms of making
our 6-year-old son we kind of got a pool of stories that we want to film, and then a huge production had this set, and they'd filmed in it for a day, and it was £20,000 to build it, and they were going to do a scene in it, and we were going to break it down and throw in a skip. So we had this story that he'd come up with. He said, Daddy, there's an Englishman and there's a German chap, and they're arguing, but it doesn't matter what they say, because that zombie's going to kill them all at the end anyway. So I just thought, I don't think you realise that existentially it all meant really, and so we kind of put it in a little pot. But then when that set came up for use, we just ran it in and said, well, let's put that in that, and my wife wrote it in like 4 hours, and then thankfully Mike Lacey, who produced it, said, right, we'll get it all together. So yeah.
Brilliant stuff. One more question from you, and I'll hand back to Dave. Just for both of you guys, in terms of working, I suppose blending the likes of comedy and horror together, two quite diametrically opposing, you know, kind of genres, if you like. Yet we have so many different films that kind of bring the best of both worlds together. What's the attraction for you in terms of working, you know, with comedy and horror? You know, obviously, Paul, you did Him Indoors, but an agoraphobic slasher, which I loved, which is great. The idea behind that's wonderful. And yourself, kind of bringing the zombie to life. What are the attractions there?
I want to give you a really long, elaborate answer. I don't know. I just like a comedy. I like gore. I like, you know, the two together. It just kind of feels right to me. So I think when you set out to make something, you don't say it's got to be this, this, or this. You just, it comes from the gut. You know, you sort of feel, you know, what do you want to see? That. Well, that's it. Is that good? Is that?
Did you set it like a comedy or a horror or both?
I sent to Rich, because when you sort of break down your shooting days, and I was kind of aware it was a zombie movie, but I kind of saw it a bit as a relationship movie as well. And when we finished shooting, I said to Rich, like, I don't think there's any fucking zombies in it at all. And we spent 2 or 3 days shooting zombies probably. We had them all in one day, and it just felt like there's no zombies in this zombie movie, so we're fucked. But hopefully it feels like there's zombies in it. But yeah, so that's what the formula is. Just, you know, comedy and horror always works. When we did our first feature, we went around Cannes. This was only 7 years ago or so. We went around Cannes and we said, "Oh, it's a horror comedy." And these guys are going like, "Why comedy? Why not just plain horror?" And we're like, "Well, they've worked together really well for years. You know, Sam Raimi's been doing it long enough, and you know, before that, you know, well, what's wrong with it?" But it seems nowadays you can get away. You know, people are accepting more of the two together again. Whereas I'm rambling now. So, Paul, what are your thoughts on comedy and horror?
Well, I've always kind of grown up with both of them hand in hand anyway. Like when my great uncle would show me Frankenstein, we'd follow up with like Laurel and Hardy. So I've always kind of, and in fact when I was writing Him Indoors, I kept watching back-to-back serial killer movies and Laurel and Hardy movies just to kind of keep myself where I needed to be. Well, you know, even when you're watching a straight horror movie, when you get scared, especially in a cinema, that one person laughs and everybody laughs. So, you know, it's something that's always gone hand in hand with horror anyway, regardless of whether it's a comedy. For me, I like to do comedy. I like to let the audience in on the joke. And that's definitely the case with both Him Indoors and The Body. You know what's going on, but the characters don't. And I think a lot of the more successful comedy horrors, it's more about how real people react to absurd things that are happening in the world that we live in. The best example, An American Werewolf in London. You know, there's a werewolf in front of you, yeah, right. And, you know, you're still doing that when it's fucking tearing your throat out, you know. So, yeah, I mean, comedy and horror, it's, you know, who doesn't like to be scared and who doesn't like to laugh?
Yeah, notice John Landis's name up in the acknowledgements at the end.
I thank him for everything that I've done. He's the reason I'm here.
The big difference between Wayne and I and Ant and Dec is that Ant and Dec rehearse, because that was the question I wanted to ask. So, just following on from that, Dom, before Dawn last year, incredibly intense zombie film, Shellshocked, bit of a laugh at the end, as you said, it's more light-hearted. So, which is your preference, or how do you feel about the two ends of the zombie genre?
Well, Shellshock was kind of an answer to Before Dawn because we wanted it to be very English and no guns and no hokey actors wearing uniforms that were no good saying, oh, they didn't fit properly, and then that was the answer to it. So we wanted to go the opposite way and get proper actors in that wore good uniforms and were shooting guns and swearing. So it was like the opposite of Before Dawn, really. So that was the answer to it, yeah.
How did it feel in terms of making it? Was there a lighter atmosphere, or...?
Well, yeah, I wasn't doing everything on my own. All of a sudden, we had different departments, which was great. You know, it was nice to say, you write it, and then you edit it, and then you produce it, and you do this, which everybody did. Like last year, it was only me and Joe, so this year there's like a gang of us, which is just better for me, you know. Yeah, better for everybody. Because it was a nightmare for 2 years.
We're being gestured at from the side, so are there any questions from the audience?
If not, we'll start asking you guys questions. So, reverse.
Sim always asks a question.
How long did it take to make Storm?
Still, Richard, how long?
We had, was it 18 shooting days in total?
Yeah.
We were shooting 25 setups a day, so we really worked the crew hard.
Richard, it was
37. 6 weeks of shooting. No, it was 18 days, and it was 3 weeks, and then a split to do catch-up shots in between Christmas and New Year's, which was really good, getting people back from Christmas. A lot of happy crew people. And then another shoot in February, I think it was, 2 days. Wasn't
No,
it?
that was all Christmas.
Was that all at Christmas?
Yeah, it is a blur. It does blur into one. So,
Yeah, it's about 18 days in total to get that.
So it's filmed around Christmas.
Yeah, our last shooting day was the 11th of December. Yeah.
The setting, was that, the confines of the setting, was that a blessing or a curse in terms of making the film?
I think it was a blessing because it was easily controllable. You had everything there every day when you walk onto set. The one drawback was that we were in a barn in the middle of nowhere. So it did take a long time to get things to there, but once it was there, it was there. And I'm a bit of a control freak, so having everything there and called upon instantly, that's how I want to make films. Makes my life easier, less grey hairs.
It's good because on day 2 of shooting, your crew don't get lost coming to work.
I was saying on day 2 of shooting, your crew didn't get lost. They know how to go to work. So, and by day 10, they still don't get lost, do they, which is great. Yeah.
Another one from Sim.
I've got a question. As you probably know, I've just shot a film, and we put a false toilet in one of the rooms in our film because we needed to create a pretend toilet. Of course, members of the team, despite the fact there were signs around it, did tend to, or some of them did actually use that toilet. But there was no, it was just sat on the toilet, sat on the floor. And was it a real toilet that you used, or was it a set?
Our production designer actually bought that whole set off eBay for like 150 quid.
Yeah, he put it off the army. Really put it off the army. So I think a load of squaddies just shit in it for like weeks, and then we got it. So,
So yeah, 150 quid, and it wasn't a working one, but because we were there shooting all the time, there was no point where anyone could do that. Yeah.
that we know of.
We know. Yeah, we don't know. The toilets didn't flush, so we
we stayed there.
Any final questions? Oh, one from the city here.
Was there a reason why you didn't show the girl's face?
Yeah, I didn't want to. It just felt like we were never going to. We never wanted to. We just felt like you've gone this far. You get a little glimpse. It felt right to end there.
Somebody here, I think, had a question. This gentleman.
Just a quick question for everyone. Other than toilet and phone booth, where do each least like to be trapped in a zombie outbreak?
Ooh. From the right. Tom, you got this one rehearsed.
So it was a toilet, a phone booth, and a.
Where would you least like to be trapped? With a film crew.
With a film. Right, I've done the toilet. We've done the toilet.
Phone booth, I guess.
I'd second that. What was the what's the third option? What was it?
Or your least favourite place?
Oh, I see. Then. My least favourite place. Oh man, I need some time to think about this. What was your place to be trapped? I can give myself some time to think.
Hi. Dominic, where would you go?
I think about this fucker all the time. Well, I've written a treatment already for something that could be interchangeable between a submarine, which would just be amazing. But my favourite one we're still trying to get backing for is a runaway train between Manchester or Leeds to London. And the driver's been bitten, so he's coming from the front to the back, but the people at the back have to get to the front to stop the train from smashing into King's Cross. And there's also a class thing because all the first class people are there.
With that, I think we're going to have to finish the Q&A, I'm afraid, because we're running out of time. Give them all a round of applause. That was fantastic.